On today's show, we visit the Plymouth Center for the Arts, where current Plymouth Poet Laureate Miriam O'Neill reads the work of her predecessor, Stephan Delbos. We'll hear more original poetry from Rona Laban and talk about classes, programs, and upcoming things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury. Tiff talks with hypnotherapist Melissa Mahoney on Open Here. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Spend an afternoon with actress, screenwriter, and author Marianne Leone at the Plymouth Center for the Arts on Sunday, February 23rd, when she will read a chapter from her memoir, Five Dog Epiphany. It's a book about finding joy in the wake of the wrenching loss of her son through a deepening bond with the family rescue pups. This moving and often humorous story reveals how two humans and a pack of rescue dogs together licked their wounds of both mind and body and rediscovered life and joy. The reading will be followed by a screening of the short film that inspired the chapter. The film stars Leone and her husband, actor Chris Cooper. The event begins at 1:30, and you can purchase a ticket for $15 now through the center's website, artsplymouth.org. Look for our cameras. The local scene will be there too. Next, Tiff Phillips sits down with hypnotherapist Melissa Mahoney on this episode of our Open Here podcast.
I'm with Melissa Mahoney, hypnotherapist. Welcome. Happy to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So let's get into it.
Okay, great.
What is hypnotherapy?
Yeah, so hypnotherapy is the practice of accessing the subconscious mind with hypnosis. So we naturally go into hypnosis every single day. When you're born, you're actually born into the state of hypnosis, which is the alpha brainwave state. So all of us are born into that state from 0 to age 8. We are highly suggestible as kids. So that's why you can tell children something and they will easily believe it, right? So when you're in that state, you're just taking in everything in your environment and creating known associations. So those stay with you throughout your life. So from 0 to 8, you're basically being programmed by your environment. So if you have some anxiety in the home, you might start to become anxious as a kid. Or a lot of times, if your mother is afraid to drive, as a kid, you're subconsciously recording that. And then later on in your life, that might show up. So with hypnotherapy, you can access the program and create the change.
Wow.
So it's really fascinating.
That is very fascinating. The brain is such an interesting place to live.
Yes. So interesting. Amazing.
What are some myths or misconceptions about hypnotherapy?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of people, when they first speak with me or call me or ask me about hypnotherapy, they think that they're going to be programmed a certain way. They think that I'm going to access the programming and make them do certain things because they see stage shows, with a hypnotist up there making you bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken, but that's all for entertainment. That is not really to create a change within your mind. So what I do as a hypnotherapist is I help people create that change.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this profession? It's such a unique area of expertise to have.
Yes, I never even really knew about it until about 10 years ago, and I was watching a TED Talk on YouTube. It was called The Power of Words by Kristen Rivas, and she was telling a story about her sister that had passed away, and she was in the grief process, and she started to have physical symptoms. So soon she wasn't able to walk anymore. She was having seizures, all from the grief. And she went to a hypnotherapist, and that hypnotherapist helped her, and then all of her physical symptoms left. I was so amazed by that. I said, I want to be able to help people do something like that. Like, that's so amazing to be able to help someone through that process and then to eliminate the physical symptoms. I mean, that's amazing.
Right.
So I said, I want to do that. So that's kind of when I started becoming interested. But there was no one around here that really taught hypnotherapy. This was 10 years ago. So I'm like, I don't really want to just learn from some random person. So I waited until a little bit longer, and then I went to college, to HMI College of Hypnotherapy.
Oh, wow. So what is the licensure that you have to go through? Do you have to take an exam and everything?
Yes, so you have to be certified. There's different schools, different people that teach hypnotherapy to get certification. So I did a year-long process, so I'm clinically certified. So technically, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist.
Oh, wow. So do you call them patients or clients?
Clients.
Clients.
Yes.
So what should clients expect on their first visit?
When they are, so I do all my sessions over Zoom. So I have found that with Zoom, they're more comfortable in their own environment, so they can relax more. Going into trance is a natural thing that we all go into every single day, but when you're in your home, more comfortable, you relax more. So the subconscious mind is easier opened, so you can access it easier.
What types of ailments or conditions do you treat?
Hypnotherapy is used for about 145 different things. Anything from anxiety, fears and phobias, insomnia, chronic pain. I used to do a lot of chronic pain with hypnotherapy. Right now I'm focused on really healthy eating, weight management, because a lot of stress eating, boredom eating, all that's coming from a certain place in your mind. There's always a root cause for what's going on, even with overeating. Like it comes from a certain place. So when we get to that root cause, we figure out what the issue is and we address that issue.
So what made you want to go into weight management as opposed to, helping people quit smoking and whatnot?
Yeah, I did that in the beginning. I did everything in the beginning. I used to do a lot of chronic pain, but now I'm really focused on healthy eating and being healthy because at this point in my life, I'm in my 50s, and it's become so much more important to me to see my health markers, my blood work, all those things, and the food that I'm eating, like food is medicine, so the food that I'm eating attributes to most of those things. So if I can get that in control for myself and then help other people, because a lot of people will have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and some of that can be managed through, eating healthier.
Is there anything that clients have to do after their appointment? Is there any kind of follow-up or any kind of meditation or anything that they need to do to kind of reinforce what you did in the hypnotherapy session?
Yes. Each session we make a recording that they're going to listen to before bed. So each recording is created during the hypnosis part of the session. So the first half of the session we're talking. The second half is the hypnosis. So we make a recording during that section, and then each night they listen to it before bed, because right before you go to sleep, you are in hypnosis. Your brain starts to transition into that alpha brainwave state, and you're highly suggestible. Your subconscious mind never shuts off. It stays on all the time, 24 hours a day. So it's on when you're sleeping. So whatever you think about before you fall asleep, your mind is going to marinate in all night long.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, you think about the hypnotherapy appointment, but you never think about the after and like how to reinforce those kind of skills that you learned.
Right, exactly. And each session kind of builds on the last session. So one session typically is never enough, no matter what you hear. So each session will build on the last, meaning you'll start to see changes. So they might be subtle or they might be big. So, for, say if you're snacking from boredom, all of a sudden you'll have a session and then you'll think, I'm not really snacking as much. I don't feel as hungry.
Very interesting. Can everybody be hypnotized?
Yes and no. So we all go into hypnosis naturally. It's a natural part of our brain. It's just a brain wave that we go into about 25 to 30 times a day. So when you're driving in the car and you kind of zone out, they call it highway hypnosis. That's hypnosis. Or if you're watching a fire and you're staring at the flame, or if you're at work and someone's talking to you and you don't hear them, that's all hypnosis. So we all go into that state. Each person has a different level of suggestibility. So some people are highly suggestible, some people less so. Hypnosis, or hypnotherapy, I should say, is not used for people that have cognitive issues. So if you have traumatic brain injury, schizophrenia, psychosis, hypnotherapy will not work for that.
What advice do you have for someone who might be afraid to get hypnotized?
Don't be afraid. It's fun. It's totally natural. All you do is close your eyes. I talk to you. I put you in a relaxed state. And when you're in that state, you're just suggestible. So at any point, you can open your eyes. So there's no reason to be in any fear. I'm not in control of your mind. You are, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. You're in control the entire time. So when you go into that state, you just feel relaxed, similar to meditation. But your mind could be hyper-focused on what I'm saying, or it could wander. Both of those things are normal.
And lastly, are you personally fulfilled by this? Is this your passion?
Yes, I love doing my job. I love it. Love it, love it. I love helping people. I love seeing the amazing results that they get. And it's, for someone to have a phobic fear of getting on a plane, like they will not fly at all, and then to see them texting me from their vacation spot and being like, I feel great, I was not afraid. It's just amazing.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I love it.
And we learned a lot today. I learned a lot today. This was fantastic.
Good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
According to the FBI's latest data, $3.4 billion has been stolen from seniors through various scams, specifically targeting them. Over 101,000 victims aged 60 and older lost an average of more than $33,000 to tech support scams, romance scams, investment scams, grandparent scams. The list is as long as it is diabolical. The best way to beat a scammer is to be informed. The Pembroke Triad team is offering a scam alert discussion at the Pembroke Council on Aging on February 20th at 2 p.m. The Pembroke Police Department and Plymouth County Sheriff's Department will be there providing information to bring everyone up to date on the latest senior scams making the rounds. Please RSVP to 781-294-8220. Next, we head to Plymouth Center for the Arts, where Plymouth Poet Laureate Miriam O'Neill read the work of her predecessor, Plymouth's first ever Poet Laureate, Stephan Delbos.
This is Stephan Delbos, homeward bound after the photograph, homeward bound. Sails are veils for ghosts of wind. Timber interns the life of trees. Ships are vehicles of further. Travelers push against boundaries of death and destination. Every journey a wish for a future less frail. Pilgrimage leaves a trail of breath floating over earth and ocean.
The Jordan Hospital Club Polar Plunge is a super chill, family-friendly annual event that over the last 22 years has raised over $1.6 million for the JHC Cancer Center at Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital, Plymouth. This money has funded an expansion of the center, renovation of the chemotherapy rooms, technology and training programs, nursing education, smart IVs and vein finders, and so much more. On Saturday, March 1st at 10 a.m., once again, a slew of brave souls will meet at Nelson Field and throw themselves into the icy waters of Plymouth Bay. This year's proceeds will help purchase new equipment and provide support for the Patients Assistance Fund, a program that helps patients focus on their therapy and healing by providing assistance for any special or unexpected costs that arise and are not covered by insurance. The local scene will be popping up at the event, so come by and share your brave story of taking the 2025 JHC Polar Plunge. Or just tell us about how you got out of your warm bed to watch the event. We would love to hear what you have to say. Paul Simon's vast and varied catalog of songs are poetic observations of the human condition, exploring the cracks and crevices of spirituality, isolation, aging, loneliness, and so much more. Join popular presenter and poet Roz Kubek on Wednesday, February 19th for Focus on the Lyrics, Paul Simon's Still Rhymin'. Session 1 is a live webinar hosted by the Pembroke Public Library. Listen to some heavenly music to brighten the dead of winter and learn more about this prolific and popular songwriter. This virtual event starts at 3 p.m. Will be an hour and a half long and broken up into 2 sessions. You can sign up for one or both. Call the library or register via their website. Kingston Public Library is offering a series of 4 basic technology classes. February 13th will focus on using the internet, covering browsers, links, bookmarks, as well as how to efficiently use Google to find information. The class on Thursday, February 20th, will cover the basics of email, and students can expect to learn how to navigate an inbox, send and receive email, and create contacts. On February 27th, patrons will learn how to avoid internet scams and how to identify fake news. All classes will be held in the adult reference area of the library from 2 to 3 p.m. Registration is limited to 5 patrons, and you can reserve your spot through the library's website. What birds call the Soul Homestead home during the winter season? Find out at the Great Backyard Bird Count on Monday, February 17th. This fly event runs from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. and will start out with a quick beginning bird class, followed by a lesson on how to use both Merlin ID and the classic birding field guide. This should prepare everyone perfectly for the walk out onto the farm to spot and identify birds and count how many different species are wintering at Soul. This is a free event, but donations are always welcome to help support the programs Soul Homestead offers to the community. Soul asks you to please RSVP so they know how many birders to expect that day. Let's learn together! Redefining Retirement is a TED Talk viewing happening at the Duxbury Senior Center on Wednesday, February 19th. Quoting the profound wisdom of Fred Rogers, often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. What does retirement look like to you? The Duxbury Senior Center invites you to join Andrew in the large classroom from 12 to 1 p.m. to watch a TED Talk that might inspire a new outlook on retirement and perhaps change how you envision your future. Following the video, there will be a lightly structured discussion to share and discuss thoughts on this topic. You can register for this event through the Senior Center's website. Students from the Silver Lake Regional High School Allied Health Program will be at the Kingston Council on Aging on Tuesday, February 25th, offering their skills and education, gaining valuable experience utilizing their clinical skills, and building relationships in a real-life setting. Join the students at the center at 12:30 p.m. to hear tips on emergency preparedness, the most important items to pack in a first aid kit, and how to best handle weather-related emergencies when they hit. It's an intergenerational benefit for everyone. Call or visit the center to learn more. Next up is poet Rona Laban with a reading of her original work.
Hi, I'm Rona Laban. This first one is, well, I've never read in a bar before. I've read in a couple of libraries. And so this is called Existential, and just to warm up and see if I could actually talk. Existential poets, barstool observers, second guessers, misfits, skeptics, true believers, destined to repeat their mistakes, far too busy observing and trying to make some sense of it all. Fatalists, realists, romantics, wanting a grand gesture, but settling for a thoughtful nod. I write a lot of, or have written a lot of family poems. I don't know if that's going to be true anymore, or because I'm the last one standing. So anyway, this one is called My Father's Plant Stand. I wonder whose house that table is in now, what corner it's been relegated to. Does it hold the plant as intended? But then it was intended for me. My father so proud, telling the story of how he had acquired it for her, for my mother. I left it there in the apartment. Flying down to get him, bringing back just what could fit in the suitcase, shirts, pants, shorts. I brought him to the apartment one last time. He didn't mention the plant stand or even look back as we left, though he must have known he would never return. Today, walking through the store with the terracotta pot for the one remaining palm someone sent when he died, I saw the small table, black, plain wood, not ornately etched, beautiful, like the one my father had bought for her, for my mother. How badly I wanted that plant stand now. And hopefully this will leave you laughing. Never date a poet. I had an ex tell me, why didn't you let me read this before? Don't fall in love with a poet. She'll entice you, conjure you, cast her spells around you, make you love her beyond reason, but it won't be enough. She won't believe you. Don't date a poet. You will surely end up on a page. Good, bad, and ugly, she'll put you there. Hero or villain, whether you send flowers or forget a birthday, you can't love a poet. Expectations high, self-esteem low. Never date a poet. She'll immortalize you in words and leave you on a page. She'll love you, then she'll lay you bare. She loves words more. Thank you.
Yoga and libraries, two distinctly different spaces that nurture the body, mind, and soul in very complementary ways. And at the Pembroke Public Library, these energies shall come together as one. Instructors Diana Gilchrist and Kim Norton, as well as other instructors from the Yoga Connection of Plymouth, are leading an all-levels yoga class from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the meeting room of the library every Wednesday. The dates for this month's yoga sessions are Wednesday, February the 12th, 19th, and 26th. A single drop-in only costs $12. A 4-class registration is $45, and Friends members can purchase a 4-class registration for $45 and an 8-class punch ticket for a discounted price of $80, which is valid for 3 months. If you have additional questions, reach out to Diana at 857-753-6820 or Kim at 781-588-5545. The Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005 and enacted the 9/11 Commission's recommendation that there be set standards for the issuance of sources of identification. Your driver's license and ID cards fall into this category, and the deadline to have a real ID is just around the corner. By May 7th, all travelers must be Real ID compliant to board domestic flights and have access to certain federal facilities. To assist you in making sure you're up to speed on the new federal and state requirements concerning your driver's license and ID card renewals, the Kingston Senior Center is hosting a Real ID workshop on Tuesday, February 18th at 10 a.m. There will be representatives from the RMV to provide information on exactly what documents you need when applying for the Real ID. This program is free to all, and registration is required. Visit or call the Senior Center to sign up. And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching. If you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members. And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media. We thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media. We'll be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our community. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching.